The 690th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMASGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing the college football and NFL seasons with Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, degenerinos, back in your orifices. Episode 690 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Going out to one of our friends, Wobbly Rooster, who says mongooses are snake killers. Right on. And he wonders if it's mongoose, which would be funny.
It is mongoose.
Is it for real?
I can confirm. Yeah, okay. Multiple mongoose. It's actually one of those words that has multiple options for plurality. It's mongooses or mongoose, your choice.
Yes. So that is a good callback for the long time, well, not long time viewers, but yeah, people who pay attention will know why we're talking about mongoose or mongoose. Wobbly Rooster goes out to you. You've been around for a while too. Thanks for coming to the show. I'm one of your hosts. I don't even know if I introduced myself last time. What am I going by now? Handsome Jeff Fox.
Big body.
Big body Jeff Fox. I've been beating off haters for almost 700 episodes. 700 episodes now. That should be a shirt. Beating off haters for 700 episodes. Once we're at, maybe we'll wait till episode 1000, which will be soon enough. As you see by the title, it's not a beating off haters episode. This is an LFA episode. LFA 196. Phoenix, Arizona is the place to be this coming Friday. So we got some one championship that we covered yesterday. They start at 8. This one starts at 10. A chance for multiple screens this coming Friday. So we're going to break down not all 14 fights. We're going to give you an in-depth preview of 5 of them. And then Gumby has the late round plays. So we'll probably hit, half the fights at the very least for you. And then you always can ask for more online. And hopefully Gumby will serve it up. Who's this Gumby guy you're speaking of? He's the guy on the other side of the screen if you're watching us on YouTube. The more presentable one of the pair will be Daniel Gumby Vreeland. Hello.
I have a longer lightning round than we've ever done since we've invented the lightning round this time.
Nice.
There are so many easy prelims to call, and I don't know if any of them are going to be playable odds, but it might just be a giant chalk prelim lightning round. So you might want to hang on for the giant chalk prelim lightning round, which is that branding probably won't take off quite as well as the Hungry Man Jaw. Well, like maybe it will.
It's our title. Everyone will see it. Everyone will see that it is the subtitle of this episode. So
giant chalk lightning round.
Yeah, Gumby's coming through with the titles. How are you doing? Or I'll say we're doing because you're up money. How are we doing with their non-UFC picks?
Non-UFC picks. We uptick a little bit on Cage Warriors this week. We went 3-1 on those. A couple of them were kind of big favorites. One was an underdog, so we wound up being up about 0.9 unit, I believe it was. By the time this is in your ear, Fury will have already happened. So, of course, we would have cleaned house on Fury.
Of course.
And tomorrow will be Invicta. So I don't have the results for Fury and Invicta yet, but we are up just a little bit over 32 units on the year on non-UFC MMA.
Fantastic. Before we move on, if you haven't already, pop over to Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. It would help us out greatly because only you can prevent corporate gambling from taking over. And thank you in advance. And thank you for checking out the episode here. Let's break her down. LFA 196, Tanner versus Ureña. Phoenix, Arizona, home of the future NBA champion Phoenix Suns. November the 8th. That would be Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern start time. Arizona Financial Theater is where it's taking place. 14 fights. Gumby has picked the top choices, top 5 fights that he likes best on the card. And as he hinted at, he's got a bunch more bonus picks for you. So no odds, as he alluded to as well. The odds have not dropped yet. We are ahead of the books. The books want to hear what Gumby has to say before they actually make the odds. I wouldn't be surprised by that because we've our Discord has destroyed books before with your picks, and odds have shifted greatly.
I thought the odds were going to shift in favor of our motion, not the other direction, though.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't listen to me enough.
Nope, they don't. We have another Uulu, Gumby. We got lots of Ulus going down in these fights.
We've talked about this Uulu before.
Okay, same Uulu.
Same Uulu.
See, that would be a good title too. We're wasting all the good titles all in one episode. This is a featherweight fight. Leonardo Morales. He's got an old school UFC photo as his Tapology profile photo. He is from Nicaragua. He is fighting, like I said, in Uulu. Iler Bakhtiyar.
Bakhtiyar, yeah.
Iler Bakhtiyar from Kyrgyzstan. Iler Bakhtiyar Uulu. Remind the people what Uulu means, Gumby.
It's like son of, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So like similar to in Russian when you have an OV at the end, or that's basically
a junior, kind of similar.
Yeah,
to
I mean, it's like kind of, but it's baked into their last name. So it's like the fact that like the name Johnson exists in the English language is like son of John is what the origin of that is.
Gonna be so smart. Bakhtiyar is 9-2, 4 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted 1 time, 1-1 in LFA. He's won 2 straight and 7 of 8. Both of his past 2 wins have come via TKO. He used to fight at lightweight, 3 inches taller than Morales. Morales is Chimmy, 14-9, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 3 times. This is his debut in LFA. He's doing it backwards. He already fought in the UFC. Now he's fighting in LFA. He fought in the UFC many moons ago. He went 0-2 in the UFC, 2-0 in tough. So he lost in the tough finals to who, Gumby?
Yair Rodriguez.
There you go. No shame there. Yep. Win-loss is the pattern for this gentleman going into this fight. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Yes, we have mantle gear. Used to fight at bantamweight. Has missed weight before at bantamweight. 2012 pro MMA debut.
Yeah, so Bakhtiyar is not the typical Kyrgyzstani fighter that you might be familiar with, right? Like he doesn't rely heavily on his wrestling like Oralbai or, some of those other Kyrgyzstani regional fighters we've seen. He's a lot more kickboxing based. What I really like about him is that from range, he's really tough. And he's perhaps even better when people smash into the clinch against him. I really like his knees in the clinch. I really like his uppercuts in the clinch. He works the body particularly well in the clinch. But also just like from range when he is boxing with you, maybe the best part of his game is his ability to counter your strikes. When people are out there throwing on him and sort of overextending themselves, he torches them and he puts them down. And that's sort of at this stage in his career, the problem with Leonardo Morales. Chimmy just, he throws bombs now and he gets after it. And like, that's great. He got a head kick knockout his last time out, or maybe that was 2 fights ago, but that will fight in Kambache. Like he still gets knockouts, but the fact of the matter is he's going to be fighting a guy who does better with range. And when he throws balls to the wall and tries to go get that knockout there, Bakhtiyar is just going to absolutely flatline him there. So I like the fact that Bakhtiyar is probably best where Morales is weak, which is, overextending himself and he's fighting a counter puncher. I also just think the way he rushes in, he's going to be prone to the clinch. And I think Bakhtiyar is going to punish him there too. So my guess, Bakhtiyar, let me see. What did I write down when I was handicapping these? Negative 300 was my first guess. Anything in the 2s would be really great parlay fuel. But like, I think he'd probably be in the 3s.
All right. Moving on to perhaps the greatest nickname matchup of all time. It would be JaCobi Jones versus Gaberial Brown, both from the United States, both at lightweight, 3-5-minute rounds. Brown, Crazy Eye is the nickname. So just one of his eyes are crazy. Is that correct, Gumby?
So. I guess so. Maybe he's just a big Steve. Maybe he's a big Steve Buscemi fan.
Could be. He is 4-1 with 3 submissions. He's won 3 straight fights. He is a regional champion. He's 4 years younger than Jones. Jones, of course, is Big Toe. Perhaps my favorite nickname. He's 6-3, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted twice, 6-2 in LFA, a former champion, 0-1 on Contender Series. He's lost 2 straight fights. He lost in Contender Series, and then he lost his LFA title in his last fight. Before that, he had won 3 straight. Did lose his last fight via submission. And he's got an inch of height over Crazy Eye Brown. Crazy Eye Brown, Big Toe Jones. Who you got?
So I'm kind of hoping the recent issues that JaCobi Jones has had in his record, as well as, Brown is on a 4-fight win streak, right? He's 4-1 with his first fight being a loss, or at least
3 straight.
Yeah.
3 straight.
Yep. So he's 1-1 at a point. And now he's 4-1. I'm kind of hoping that run makes this line close. I'm rooting for south of negative 200. If I was lining this fight, I'd put Jones at negative 325. And I'm hoping it's going to be a lot lower than that, because it seems like, those recent losses, people might think that he's going to struggle with Brown. And especially because like Brown likes to wrestle. And if you look at who JaCobi Jones lost to, he lost to Daniel James Allen on Contender Series, again, by like a little bit of wrestling. And then Keegan Ginrich, who is a really good wrestler in LFA. So with those two losses being in there, I think people will think Brown can wrestle him. And I don't think he can at all, is the best part of it. For two reasons. Number one, Brown bites on every single feint anybody has ever thrown. And JaCobi Jones is like, maybe not the most polished guy on the feet, but he does feint well. And I think he's just going to get Brown to back up and back up and back up and back up and back up. So first of all, Brown's going to be in a bad position to wrestle. Secondly, the other problem I have with Brown and his wrestling is that he shoots from way too far away. He's so desperate to get that takedown that sometimes he doesn't do the work necessary to close the distance. So even if JaCobi Jones has had trouble with wrestlers so far, I don't think Brown is the right type of guy to give him wrestlers. I also think that Jones's striking is just like, it's good enough for the level of Brown. Brown's like kind of slow on the feet. And again, he's going to have his back against the cage for most of the fight. So I like JaCobi Jones here. Like I said, I would line it in the 3s, but I'm hoping for it in the high 1s.
All right. As Tapology, 75% are going for Jones. So you may not get your wish
that sounds like a negative 250 if Tapology's polls are to be taken seriously, because I've seen Tapology's polls just be like completely wrong before. As far as the odds, but like, if those do stick around, that would be like a negative 250, and I think Jones probably still value there.
All right, there you go. Before we move on, Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all sports. They got NFL, they got college football, they got MLB, they've got MMA. Yes, they do. They got NBA, they got NASCAR, they got more. I guess they don't have MLB for at least a few more months. They always have profit boosts and all that fun stuff. And you can now use specials to boost on all flex entries. Gumby, do you have a play for the people?
Yeah, so obviously this episode is coming out Monday. So we want to go to Monday Night Football, which is where the Chiefs are playing the Buccaneers, which is an interesting matchup. I'm going to take the higher than on my guy Baker Mayfield's passing yards. He has gone over 325 for 3 games in a row in 4 out of his last 5. So I'm expecting another big game out of him, especially in what will probably be a shootout against the Chiefs.
All right, there you go. Sign up with our code MMA, SGPN, to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That would be underdog@fantasy.com, promo code MMA, SGPN. Back to
Did I see you writing that down to use it for your article?
No,
tomorrow?
I didn't actually. Nope. Nope. I was just reading the ad. Okay. No, but I should. I can't even remember what you said.
Baker Mayfield passing yard.
Baker, right. Okay. I'll stir it away. We'll see if I need it tomorrow. Where are we moving to now? We are moving to the third from the top now. Flavio de Queiroz. Flavio de Queiroz. Queiroz. Sounds better how I say it. Queiroz is much better. He is from Brazil. Furkatbek Yokubov, another fun name. He is from Uzbekistan. These men are fighting at, what did I say? What weight class? 125, the fun weight class. 3 5-minute rounds if they need it. Yokubov is Iron Man. He is Iron Man. That's who the song's about. He's 14-4, 6 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted once. He's been finished. That means in all his losses. This is his LFA debut. He's won 3 straight and 8 of 9. All of those have come via finish. All those fights that I just mentioned, all 9 of them. Regional champion, used to fight at bantamweight and featherweight. 1-0 in pro karate. 3 years younger than De Queiroz. De Queiroz is Flavino, little Flavio. Little Flavio. Yeah. Little Flavio. 14-4, 9 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. This is his debut as well. In LFA, he's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Both of his past 2 wins have come via TKO. He has not fought in over a year. August 2023 was his last fight. He's not lost since August 2021. Was regional champion, 2013 pro MMA debut. Used to fight at bantamweight.
These 2 flyweight, this is one of the highest level flyweight fights I've seen in LFA in a minute.
Nice.
If you look at who these guys have lost to, Queiroz has lost to Lockdog. Vinicius Oliveira. He's also lost to Ali Kasey, who was in the UFC for a minute. And Yokubov lost to Azat Maksum, who's now a ranked flyweight in the UFC. And he beat Fun Size Makovsky in his last fight. So, like, this is a high level fight here. I think because of how good their resumes are, how long their resumes are, where they fought and stuff like that, we're going to see a fairly close line. I'm going to say -150 on Yokubov, and I'm going to take Yokubov in this fight. I think his wrestling's just too good is the bottom line here. And when you look at the way that he's gotten into his wrestling, like he is just willing to eat a shot to get into what he needs to. Like his defense maybe leaves a little bit to be desired, but like, man, he will just smash his head into your fist in order to get in on a takedown. And it worked against everybody except for Azat Maksum recently, right? So like, you got to like his chances against Queiroz, who like doesn't strike me as a knockout artist. He sort of is flimsy on his feet when people shoot takedowns on him. He seems like his balance is off. I think it's just because he's bouncing kind of frequently and maybe without a lot of purpose. I think Yokubov could be here like a -400 favorite. Maybe the Russian sounding name will let the books cook it up a little bit more. I'm hoping that Queiroz keeps it down, but yeah, Yokubov is the pick here.
Once you do gens out there, get in on him, the line will be out of control, I'm sure. So, all right, Yokubov is the pick, says the Gumby. We're to the co-main event. Kamuela Kirk, Ednilson Santos. They are fighting at lightweight, USA versus Brazil. Tell you about the Brazilian first. Santos. Kai is the nickname. C-A-I. Kai means fall. Does it mean fall, Gumby?
I don't know, but he usually goes by Ednilson Kai too. He doesn't actually use Santos that much. It was really annoying when trying to find film on him. Ednilson Santos has no film. Yeah. Ednilson Kai has tons of it.
It's a very Brazilian thing. You always have to check their names and
very frustrating.
And figure out which one is which. So yes, Gumby does check out film. Don't you worry. This Mr. Santos or Kai is 12-6-1, 7 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out once. This is his LFA debut. He's won 2 of 3 and 2 of 5. Not so good. Lost his last fight. That was back in November 2022. He's not won since June of 2022. That's why he couldn't find film. He hasn't fought for since the olden days. Regional champion, 2014 pro MMA debut. Used to fight at flyweight and welterweight. Kirk is the Jawaiian, famously. 11-6, 4 knockouts, 6 submissions. Knocked out once, submitted once. 4-1 in LFA, 1-2 in UFC, 0-1 on Contender Series. He has lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 3 straight. He's not fought since July 2023. He's not won since June 2021. So a couple guys who have been on a skid for a while and have not fought for a while. Used to fight at featherweight, 2014 pro MMA debut, an inch of height over Santos.
Yeah, the bad records recently, you would think maybe would keep the line close. But the bottom line is that Kirk, while wasn't really successful in the UFC, also didn't like embarrass himself in the UFC, which means ultimately I think he's going to be like a -250 favorite here. You know, the big piece for me in this fight and why I have to go with Kamuela Kirk is I think people forget how good he was wrestling. I know I did this recently with Dustin Stoltzfus, and I'm like, people forget how good of a wrestler he is. Kirk isn't as good as Stoltzfus, but Kirk is a good wrestler. If you watch the beginning of that Esteban Ribovic fight, he takes Ribovic down like almost effortlessly in like the first couple of minutes. And he holds the position pretty well, maybe not expertly, but like well enough to deal with 98% of people in LFA, especially at Ednilson Santos. So for me, Kirk's going to get that takedown. The other thing is like, if you want to watch the film on Kai here, is like the style is pretty obvious. He really badly wants to wrestle himself, which is not great when you're up against the guy who's shown, positive wrestling ability in the UFC. He really wants to wrestle himself. And then secondly, if he's not able to do so easily, like he has in some of his wins, most of his losses are because he started wrestling early and didn't have the energy to maintain it when he started failing. So I think Kirk is going to sort of engage him in this dogfight early, tire him out, and should be able to beat him late. So I'm guessing -250 Kamuela Kirk, and that is my pick.
You're not going to win many fights if you're wrestling yourself. You have to wrestle your opponent, right?
That's
wrestling
right.
Yourself, you're not going to win. All right, so you said about -200, you hope?
Yeah, probably in that -200 to 250 range. I mean, the recent losses should keep it closer, but the fact that they were UFC losses, and again, he didn't embarrass himself in the UFC. Like, he was a decent... like if they gave him one more fight in the UFC, I would not be sitting here like laughing at the UFC's choice like I would have if they gave Robelis Despaigne another fight.
Yeah. All right. Very, very good. Before we move on, no laughing matter, rhythm. SGPN. Me trying to say the ad read is a laughing matter. SGPN. That's what we are. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model. Copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. It also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Rhythm went 24-3 in their props for NBA Night 1. Get on there, check out the Al Horford props, and claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We are also brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. U.S. players are always welcome. Get on there, check out the MMA lines. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so you know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. Now back to America's favorite MMA gambling podcast, the one and only. We're to the main event already. It is a 3 5-minute round bantamweight fight. Kasey Tanner, very American sounding name. Micaias Ureña, not as American sounding. I probably butchered it too. He's from the Dominican Republic. How do you say his name, Gumby?
I think you said it fine. Micaias Ureña. And it's Ureña. Yeah.
Ureña. You keep popping out of my ears, but I heard the Ureña part, so that's all I need to know. All right, let's break down the fight, shall we? Now we got the pronunciations down. Ureña, we've talked about him before, right? Because he's the Pink Ranger.
That's right, yeah.
And I made fun of Power Rangers, right? And everyone,
you did, and not everybody made fun of you.
Yes, everyone made fun of me. Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. The Pink Ranger. Does he have pink hair? He does in his topology picture. Is that his thing?
Yes. Typically he has pink hair. Yes.
Perfecto. He's 9-2. 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 1-0 in the LFA. He's won 5 straight fights in 8 of 9. He won his last fight via TKO. He's not lost since November 2020. Regional champion. Used to fight at featherweight. 3 years younger than Tanner. 2 inches taller, an inch of reach on him. Tanner is 7-1, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 2-0 in LFA. 0-1 in Contender Series. Who do you lose to, Gumby?
Gian Matsumoto.
He did. The greatest fighter of all time. The golden. What's he known as currently?
Golden Super Triple Champion, Double Hippo Whale.
There you go. Good. It changes every time it's said. As I unplug Gumby in, I just don't want to hear Gumby today. He won his last fight via submission, and he is 0-1 as a pro grappler. Go ahead.
I think this fight, so when I originally was posted, I was like, oh, Kasey Tanner will be a favorite here. And then the word on the street is he will not be. And I've talked about this before, when I have a pretty clear read of what I think is going to be the case. And, I was only thinking like -145, -150 for him. And then all of the prospecting people I talked to were like, are you crazy? Like Ureña will definitely be a favorite in this fight. And that shocked me a little bit.
Why is that?
I think they think because, so I thought Kasey Tanner, and first of all, I'm picking Kasey Tanner here too. I thought Kasey Tanner would be a clear favorite because his wrestling game is so good. Mm-hmm. It looked bad on Contender Series, sure, and maybe that's why they think he'll come in as a underdog because, he didn't wrestle Gian Matsumoto. You're right about that. But other than that, his wrestling game is always held up, and it's not just the wrestling game. It's like the transitionary game when he is wrestling. Like his ability to move to your back when he fails on a takedown, like to duck under and get to the back, is really sharp. I like his grappling game top to bottom. There were even some people who, sort of made fun of me for picking Gian Matsumoto over him when we were talking about Contender Series. Like he's that good. He's like a guy who you could talk about possibly beating Gian Matsumoto. And so I thought for sure that would mean he's a favorite. And I think the explosive striking of Ureña here has got people on the other side that people think like, oh, he'll just stuff one of Tanner's takedowns and then blast him on the feet, which by the way is a possibility, right? Like it's MMA. Obviously everything's a possibility. But for me, I just think he's going to close that distance on Ureña. And I think once he starts wrestling, I think Ureña is going to have a really tough time dealing with that wrestling over and over again, and not just dealing with that wrestling over and over again, but then having any zip on his punches after he's tried to get up from that for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it is. So I personally trust the grappling of Kasey Tanner here. As I said, I had him pegged at -145 or something like that. All the people I talked to have Ureña -160, -170. So I'll just say we'll call this one a pick 'em. I'll take Kasey Tanner. And if he comes in at dog money, that's it for me for sure. Kasey Tanner on this one.
It is pretty much a pick 'em on Tapology. 54% for Ureña, excuse me. So interesting.
Yeah. I would have thought the public would have liked Kasey Tanner too. And so
they do now.
There's Another time I was wrong on that, but I like Kasey Tanner. So let's hope he gets into dog money.
Once this episode drops, we'll see what happens. So everyone jump on that number while you can. Hopefully it is a dog.
If you're in the Discord, alerts will come from other people. So make sure you get in the Discord.
Yes. All right. Let's recap. And then we shall move on to the lightning round. All right. Tanner, hopefully as a dog, did you say what number you think about one low ones, right? For him?
Yeah. Low ones, if anything. Yeah.
Yep. All right. He's got Kirk. He has got Yokubov. He has got Jones. He has got Bakhtiyar. Lightning round, Zap Bam Boom Pow. He has promised us lots of lightning round picks today. So let's see if he comes through.
So I got 5 people on these prelims I like. If any of these odds are playable or parlayable, get in on them. So I'm just going to rattle off the names here. I'll tell you a little bit about what I like about him. First one, Iler, a guy who I used to fade before, thought he didn't quite have everything he needed to be a reliable 205er. He seems to be rounding out his game in a way that I really appreciate. So I think he's a guy you're going to see on Contender Series in a year or so. Iler, the first one. The second one, Eric Fimbres, middleweight guy, same kind of deal here. I didn't think necessarily his game was all the way put together. The more and more I watch him, the more and more I like about him. So he's one that I'm going to keep an eye on. I also like Stav Corin. Stav Corin was supposed to fight 2 weekends ago. I gave him as one of my lightning round plays 2 weeks ago. And now he is got a new opponent. It's a less experienced opponent, and man, is he going to beat the hell out of him. Can't imagine that's a playable line, but if it is, Stav Corin is very exciting. And then I also like Chase Ikei. That's spelled Ikei. He's a he's a bantamweight guy. Bantamweight guy, again, very exciting, super fast, really talented, great gym down there in Arizona. And then last but not least, I'm going to take Christian Natividad. They just announced there's going to be a flyweight season of The Ultimate Fighter coming up. It's flyweights and welterweights is what I'm pretty sure they're casting for right now. I'd be shocked if Christian Natividad does not absolutely flatline his opponent this one and go ahead and get himself on that show. So he's 5-0 right now, super fast, little brother of Kevin Natividad, former UFC fighter. So once again, to give you all of those, Iler, Eric Fimbres, Stav Corin, Chance Ikei, and Christian Natividad.
How's that for lightning round? That was a long storm. Hopefully everyone got all those jotted down so you can get some more winning picks. All right, you're all set for LFA 196. If you want more LFA talk or talk of any MMA sort, we can be found in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. You can hit us up in the comments on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast. Thank you for subscribing there. Where else can you get us? Twitter, X, we are at SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that for us. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox, writer there and on Instagram. Get in, check out my Substack. At the very least, enter my free UFC Pick'em contest for this weekend's event at moneymma.substack.com. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. He has got a couple of people I think he just spoke about on the show this week.
Yeah, 2 of those lightning round picks, Stav Corin and Christian Natividad, are both on the show, so make sure to check that out.
All right, and of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store to get all your mantle shopping needs taken care of. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. Gumby, bid the people farewell until tomorrow.
I'm Dana Gibby Freeland. He's Big Toe Jeff Fox, and we will see you tomorrow.
That's me.